The wind carried the scent of dry grass and dust across the golden plains of the savannah. It was late afternoon, and the sun dipped low behind the scattered acacia trees. Shadows stretched long over the land. Somewhere in that vast silence, the world was holding its breath. 12-year-old Amara walked slowly beside her father's jeep. They had come to this remote part of the reserve to check on a broken fence, but Amara's eyes weren't on the wires or tools. Her heart had always belonged to the animals, every shape, size, and sound. She had grown up hearing lions roar at night and watching elephants pass like giants under the stars. But nothing had ever felt as strange as what she saw now. A small broken body lay in the tall grass, barely moving. Her father hadn't seen it yet. "Dad," she whispered, but her voice caught in her throat. She stepped forward alone, her boots crunching lightly on the earth. The cub was barely breathing. Its ribs showed through the skin. One paw was twisted unnaturally, and dried blood marked its side. Its golden eyes fluttered open, meeting hers. "Dad," she called again, louder this time. Her father came running. When he saw the cub, his face tightened. "It's a lion," he said softly. "A very young one. Looks maybe 3 months old." Amara knelt slowly beside the cub. It didn't try to move or bite. It just stared at her, blinking slowly, like it was holding on to life through her eyes. "Can we help him?" she asked. Her father hesitated. "If he's been abandoned, maybe the pride lost him, or maybe they were hunted." Amara didn't know what was worse, losing your family or being left behind on purpose. She reached out and touched the cub gently. It was warm, but barely. "We can't leave him here," she said. "He'll die." Her father looked at her, then at the wounded cub inside. "All right, but if we take him, it's going to be hard. He'll need care, and if he survives, he's still a wild animal." "I'll take care of him," Amara said, her voice steady. Back at the ranger outpost, they cleaned his wounds and gave him water. Amara sat beside him for hours, whispering soft words. She named him Leo. Leo didn't move much for the first 2 days, but on the 3rd day, his ears twitched when Amara brought in warm milk. She smiled and held the bottle. Gently, he drank, slowly at first, then hungrily. She laughed and cried all at once. Every day after school, she came straight to the little wooden pen they had built for him. Leo started limping around, his broken paw healing little by little. His eyes followed her everywhere. When she sang, he purred softly. When she cried, he nudged her hand with his nose. Weeks passed and Leo grew stronger. But something else grew too. Danger. One evening, as the sky turned orange, a ranger came running. "Amara, come inside now," he shouted. She turned and saw why. In the distance, 3 lions were pacing along the edge of the fence line. Big males, full grown. Their manes caught the wind and their eyes burned with wild light. Amara's heart raced. Could they smell Leo? Her father ran to her. "Get in the jeep now," but she didn't move. What if they're looking for him? They're wild lions. "Amara, you can't guess what they'll do. We have to keep you safe." That night, the lions didn't leave. They stayed close, circling the outpost like shadows in the dark. Leo growled softly from his pen, restless. "Something's not right," Amara whispered. The next morning, they found claw marks on the outside of the wooden walls. The adult lions had tried to break in. Her father paced. If they're after Leo, they might be from his old pride. But if they see humans as a threat, they could attack. Amara stood near the pen. Leo pressed his head against the wooden slats. He didn't look scared. He looked calm, like he understood something they didn't. "Let me try," she said suddenly. "What?" "Let me take Leo out there just for a moment. I'll be careful. I feel like he needs to see them." Her father stared at her like she was crazy. "That's too dangerous," but her eyes begged him. After a long silence, he finally gave in. They drove a short distance out to the grasslands, stopping near a large tree where the lions had been seen before. Amara stepped out of the jeep, holding Leo in her arms. He was heavier now, but he didn't struggle. Stay close, her father said, eyes scanning the horizon. Amara walked a few steps into the field. The wind was quiet, the air heavy. Then, from behind the grass, a lioness stepped out. She was beautiful and terrifying. Her golden eyes locked onto Leo, then Amara. Amara froze. Leo suddenly squirmed in her arms. He dropped to the ground, limping forward on his still healing paw. No, Amara whispered. Leo! But the lioness didn't move to attack. She lowered her head and let out a low, vibrating sound. Another lion stepped out. Then another. 3 lions. Surrounding Leo. Amara held her breath. Every instinct screamed to run. But something told her not to. Leo looked back at her once, then something strange happened. He turned and walked toward them. The lions didn't growl. They didn't strike. They let him come. Leo rubbed his head against the lioness's leg, then looked up at her. A deep sound passed between them, like a greeting, a recognition. Amara's mouth dropped open. She didn't understand it, not fully. But something deep inside told her what had happened. This was his family, or what was left of it. And somehow, they had found him again. Just then, one of the lions looked up, straight at Amara. She couldn't move. He took one slow step forward, then stopped. Another step. Closer. Amara's heart thudded in her chest. Amara! Her father called from the jeep, panic in his voice. The lion was only a few steps away now. Amara's lips trembled, but she didn't run. The lion looked at her, long and hard. Then he sat down, right there, calm, still, as if to say, "We see you. We understand." She dropped to her knees. Tears ran down her cheeks. Leo looked at her one last time. A soft sound left his throat. Not fear, not goodbye, just thanks. And then he turned and walked back into the grass, the 3 lions forming a protective circle around him. As they disappeared into the wild, Amara whispered, "Be safe, Leo." She stayed there for a long time, staring into the wind. For days after the lions vanished into the golden plains with Leo, Amara felt like something inside her had been left behind. The pen at the ranger station was empty now. Quiet. Too quiet. She still came by every morning out of habit, brushing off the dust and checking the bowl where Leo used to drink. Sometimes she even left scraps of meat, though she knew he wouldn't return. "He's with his kind," her father said gently one evening. "That's where he belongs." "I know," Amara replied, her voice barely above a whisper. But her eyes told a different story. She missed him. She missed the warmth of his fur, the way he'd lean into her touch, and that soft little rumble he made when he was happy. It felt like losing a best friend. Life slowly returned to normal. Or at least, it pretended to. The rangers resumed their patrols. Tourists came and went. The fences got repaired. But deep in her heart, Amara held on to something unspoken, a quiet hope. Then, one stormy night, everything changed. The wind howled outside, lashing against the tin roof of the station. Thunder rolled in the distance. Amara tossed and turned in her bed, unable to sleep. Something didn't feel right. She sat up, listening. There. A faint scratching noise at the back door. She froze. Then it came again. Scrape, scrape. Soft and slow. Grabbing a flashlight, she crept down the hallway, her bare feet cold on the wooden floor. She hesitated at the door, heart pounding. With a shaky breath, she turned the handle and opened it, and gasped. Leo. He stood in the rain, soaked and trembling. He was thin again. His left side was bleeding. One eye swollen shut. Amara dropped to her knees. Oh my God. Leo. She wrapped her arms around him as gently as she could. He didn't resist. He just leaned into her, like he'd been carrying the whole world on his back. Her father came running moments later. When he saw Leo, he didn't ask questions. He just helped Amara lift him onto a blanket and carried him inside. They spent the rest of the night treating his wounds. Amara wiped the mud from his face, whispering over and over, "You're okay. You're home. I've got you." By sunrise, Leo was resting, but his breathing was shallow, weak. "What happened to him?" Amara asked her father, eyes filled with fear. He looked grim. Something must have gone wrong. A fight, maybe. Another predator. Or even poachers. Poachers? Her heart sank. Her father nodded. "They've been more active lately. We found snares last week near the southern boundary. Could be they tried to take the pride. Maybe Leo escaped. Barely." Amara clenched her fists. She had always known the wild could be cruel. But this? This felt personal, like the world had punished Leo for trying to belong. She stayed by his side for the next 2 days, feeding him by hand, changing his bandages, talking to him like nothing had changed. But something had. Leo was no longer a cub. He was a young lion now, scarred, grown, and full of silent pain. Yet even in that broken state, he watched her with eyes that remembered everything. On the third day he stood up, wobbly, slow, but he stood. And when she opened the pen door to clean, he stepped out and pressed his forehead against hers. It was a moment she would never forget. But peace didn't last. That same evening, a distress call came in from the southern plains. A lion pride had been spotted near a riverbed. One lioness dead, another missing, tracks everywhere, bullet casings in the dirt. Poachers had been there, and they weren't gone. "We have to go," Amara said. Her father hesitated. "It's dangerous. We don't even know if it's Leo's pride." "I know it is," she said. "I feel it." Leo was pacing near the jeep, restless, alert. Without needing a command, he jumped into the back of the vehicle. Her father stared, stunned. "Did he just—" "Yes," Amara said, climbing in beside him. "He's ready." They drove through the night. The road was rough, the air heavy with tension. When they reached the riverbed, the scene was worse than they feared. Tracks, blood, empty bottles, broken branches, but also paw prints. Leo leapt from the jeep before it fully stopped. He sniffed the air and let out a low, powerful growl. He took off into the bush. "Leo!" Amara shouted, jumping out after him. "Stay with the jeep." Her father called, but it was too late. She ran into the dark. Branches scratched her arms. Thorns tore her clothes, but she didn't stop. She followed the sound of Leo's roar. And then, she found them. A net. A lion cub trapped inside, crying, whimpering, 2 men with rifles loading gear into a truck, and Leo charging like a storm. The poachers turned, shocked. One fired. The shot missed. Leo didn't stop. He slammed into one of them, sending him crashing to the ground. Amara screamed. The second man turned toward her, gun raised. Suddenly another lion appeared, then another, and another. The pride. They had followed. In a blur of roars and growls, the poachers ran. One stumbled. The other dropped his rifle and bolted. Amara ran to the net, her hands shaking as she cut it open. The little cub inside was breathing, but scared. She looked up and saw the lioness with the golden eyes. Leo stood beside her, blood on his fur, breathing hard, but standing tall. And in that moment, Amara understood. This wasn't just about survival. It was about family, about loyalty, about love that crossed the wildest lines. She reached out, placing her hand gently on Leo's. "Maine, you found your way back," she whispered, "and somehow—" He smiled. Later that night, the rangers came. The poachers were caught. The lions disappeared into the tall grass, silent and proud. Leo didn't stay. He walked to the edge of the field, turned once to look at her, and then vanished into the wild, his family at his side. Amara didn't cry. Not this time. She knew he was where he belonged. But every morning she still walked to the edge of the reserve and waited. And sometimes, just sometimes, she saw golden eyes watching from the trees. Thank you for staying with Leo's story till the end. If this journey moved you even a little, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that touch the heart and stir the soul. Because sometimes, the wild tells the most human tales of all.